everybody, this is Jenny from Cosmic Hearts Healing. This reading is going to be for the Leo Collective for June of 2019. I already pulled some cards for you, and just to explain how I do card readings is I do them focused on self. So I look for the upcoming energies, what type of blocks that you could be experiencing, and I give a little bit of tips and pointers of how to work through that energy to find pure abundance and love within. Okay, so I have like week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. So for week 1, we have the Lovers card, and I asked for clarification of the Lovers card, and I got this Magic card. And since this is focused on self, you see this lady up here on this like stone. She's around like all these waves and rough waters, but she looks like she's happy and she's beautiful and she's ready to fly like free. So I think what this Lovers card is saying is, what do you need to do to fly free? This is balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within ourselves. And it's wrapped around a snake. Okay, now the way that a snake travels through life is it travels by the vibrations that it senses. So if it feels something that feels off, then he's not going to go that direction. This card is saying to you during week 1 to really tap into how you feel, those emotions, and use that to guide you to find more of that magic within yourself. So if you start to go one direction, or if you start to talk to one person, or if you're trying to manifest a job, and if it's not feeling right, then don't go that direction. Take a pause and head in towards another direction. And then if you go that direction and you love it, just do more of it. And the more and more that you start to feel your way through life, and the more and more that you start to break down those lower feelings, also when you're trying to gear yourself towards life that way, you can also ask yourself, like, try to gain wisdom and ask yourself, like, what is making me feel this way? Is it something that I'm creating in myself, or am I not seeing anything? Am I not seeing something clear enough? Because the next card that you got was All That Glitters. This talks about not seeing things clearly. Talks about maybe other people wearing a mask, or maybe you wearing a mask. Like saying, I want to be in this relationship with this person, where really underneath, it's not giving you this vibration. It's not bringing you magic, but yet you stay. Okay, so it's really breaking down and seeing what you try to talk yourself into staying, especially with the Gemini energies and sun, or the sun's in the Gemini energy. And the upcoming new moon is also going to be in the sign of Gemini. I am a Gemini, so I know, like, we can sometimes talk ourselves into things that we know isn't glittering or isn't finding its flow yet. And just because it isn't finding its flow yet, it doesn't mean that it's not meant to be. It just means it's not meant to be right now. Okay? So then for week 2, you got the Other Self. This to me is, again, going into your heart chakra, going into what feels right. And this guy's red, so grounding it into yourself. There's a dragonfly down here, which means like transformation, change. It's also got the butterflies up there. I asked them to clarify it, and I got the shell, connection. I'm getting connection to self. So just like this card had 2 people, this card too is having 2 people, okay? And everyone has a light and dark side. So it's just trying to get that dark side under control, trying to figure out how to make this guy who lives in his heart chakra come out more and more. All right. And one way that we have to do that is by having faith and trust. Okay. Having faith and trust that these things that you think are glittery Either they're not glittery right now, or they're not glittery at all and you're not seeing them clearly. Have faith and trust that there's other things that the universe wants to bring you. When something's not manifesting, it's this way of saying that it's trying to keep you safe, okay? And then the next the next card that you got was by the book. By the book is the universal laws. So if you've never looked up the universal laws, then I would ask you to do that. It's the law of attraction, the law of abundance. There's like a ton of them. So this is by living in this higher vibe, by guiding yourself in that higher vibe, by guiding yourself in the next card, I'm going to skip up, by guiding yourself in core values and what you're worth, you're going to create better dharma for you. Whereas if you accept something less than, if you're accepting something less than that looks glittery, although it's not, you're going to create karma. So if you want to break the cycle of creating karma, let this go. Listen to the spiritual laws, follow your core values. And by doing that, you're telling people to respect you, you're respecting yourself, and that helps you create more wealth in your life, okay? So for week 3, we got Shaman of Water. This guy is saying, like, even though he's going through some like suffering right now, that he's finding flow and he's finding his new harmony. Let me see what else. I'm trying to remember. There was something that I wanted to say about this one. I would just say that finding your flow. Like there's like lots of the red rubies flying around. So to give gratitude for what you actually have around you now. And maybe you are letting go of control, because this is the healing card, and it's hard to let go of control. It's hard to let go of things that the way that you think things should be. But by letting go of control, because this is the control card, when I ask for clarification, you're actually going to bring in healing, okay? And again, that's clarified by the core values. And this card means to observe. Again, observe the way you feel and observing others clearly. So in your life, maybe act as if you're like not you. Act as if you're like me, or if you're like a friend, and you're watching your life, or you're watching these people from a different viewpoint, and asking yourself, is this really worth my value? Is it really worth my time? Trying to see it in a new light. Okay. And then for the 4th week, we got the card of fear is going to be coming up. So I asked what the fear was. I asked to clarify the fear card, and I came up with attachment, which would go with the controlled card as well, and the obstacle. So I think your obstacle is the attachment. So whatever you're attaching yourself to, that's creating these lower vibes, is really blocking you. It's a huge obstacle right now in your life. They clarify that with the creative card. So maybe just get, rather than going towards fear, try to go towards being creative in life. Like if I find something's not flowing in my life that I would like to flow, I tend to find things that I love to do instead, like card readings, healings, nature walks, hanging out with the girls for lunch, hanging out with my kids. So just get creative, find things that you enjoy doing rather than this being attached and trying to control. And to clarify that, it's the not for you card. And it's like this person has the idea that this fortune is for them, and they're saying, nope, it's not. You know, and even if it's a nope, it's not for right now, but, you know, just really try to let that go for now in life, okay? And then affirmations for the month is, I am worthy of all the success that I desire. And I almost want to change this to, I am worthy of all the happiness that I desire. And my only limit is my own mind, which I think is perfect. I think that goes with like all these cards down here, that somehow you are blocking your own happiness from within yourself, okay? And the last card we got, I'm going to read from the book. It's called The Shaman of Skells. It says, in your heart, you have been asking for something different, something more, and the universe is answering your prayers. You do not need to be afraid of the changes happening or that are going to happen for you. They are part of the answer from the universe. You might feel uncertain because you cannot see how it's going to all work out, but know that the universe is caring for you and will provide a way to move through the transition with grace. You are not crazy to willingly enter this experience. There is nothing that you need avoid and so much that you will gain. The spiritual guidance says, something is ending, something that has meant a lot to you. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a phase of life, maybe it's an identity that no longer suits you. Maybe it's an inner ending that you cannot quite articulate, but you can sense nevertheless. This is a symbolic death with a greater purpose. The shaman is spiritually trained to overcome the fear of symbolic death, and instead of avoiding endings, to willingly go through them with the awareness that an ending is simply the other side of a beginning. The shaman learns that endings happen when something new wishes to be born. The shaman knows that it's ultimately for good and has compassion for the human mind that may still feel very uncomfortable and resistant to the process. So even while we may accept the change, even with gratitude, our minds might feel uncertain and afraid. We might feel confused to try to cling to what is ending. There are natural human responses to loss, especially when we sense that loss is irreversible, and that life will never be quite the same again. Be patient with yourself, be kind, but also know that new life is happening for you now according to a higher purpose and loving plan. Your life is meant to change at this time. Be encouraged. From the ashes of this symbolic death, you shall rise again. Okay, so that ties in perfectly with the whole spread. So for the month of June, I think you're going to be doing like a lot of shifts inside yourself. And also with the Lover's card, I noticed 6. And when I was looking at the first 6, they pointed out that there's also a multitude of 6s on the board. So I pulled out my numerology card. So when you're trying to balance yourself, okay, with these 2 cards here, when you're going inward, ask yourself if you're having positive aspects or negative aspects. Because I feel like this number 6 has to do with like harmony of family and home, but I also think it's like harmony and love of self. So ask if you're being more the positive aspects or more the negative aspects, okay? And if you would like to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. And if you're interested in what decks that I was using today, I'm just going to show them really quick so everyone knows which cards that I'm using. And everyone have a great month of June. Bye.